you go. It was a little wink to a passage about France that we wanted to use.
Quoting the former Les Républicains candidate is a surprising move from the far-right party, who've previously sought to distance themselves from what they refer to as the establishment. With less than a week until the final runoff of the presidential election, it could be seen as an attempt to appeal to the supporters of former candidate François Fillon. Well, Marine Le Pen will have her chance to close the 19-point lead Emmanuel Macron currently has, according to the polls. This Wednesday, the two candidates will face off in a final TV debate. Now, the debate is often a make-or-break moment for France's future leaders, as Simon Harding reports.
A verbal offensive, an appeal to emotion, an anaphora, a debate which can in a few seconds change the course of a campaign. In 1974, there was the first French presidential debate in history.
Le décor set was dark, the atmosphere cold. Both candidates were tense and not even talking to each other.
That night, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing swept François Mitterrand's campaign aside with a few killer words.
I find it always shocking and injuring to manipulate the monopoly of someone's heart. You don't have that monopoly, Mr. Mitterrand. You don't have it.
7 years later, the duel was repeated, but this time, François Mitterrand had prepared himself by practicing fake debates with his advisors, and that time, it was him who came out on top. The left ascended to power, but they were haunted by a split and a coalition in the government which foreshadowed a bitter and tense debate.
Allow me to say that tonight I'm not the Prime Minister. And you're not the President of France.
You are absolutely right, Mr. Prime Minister.
A line which helped Mitterrand win the day, the press unanimously agreeing that Chirac had been cast aside. In 2002, everyone expected Jospin to face Chirac, but a huge shock rocked France as far-right candidate. Jean-Marie Le Pen moved to the second round. Chirac refused to debate with the National Front leader.
I have refused them in the past, and I will not accept to debate with them tomorrow.
10 years later, Nicolas Sarkozy faced François Hollande and his famous as president.
As President of the Republic, I would not call my Prime Minister a collaborator. As President, I would enable the justice system to work independently. As President, I would always ensure that my behavior is exemplary.
On Wednesday night, the 7th debate of the second round will take place, a brand new duel, which will certainly make its own history.
Next, German Chancellor Angela Merkel paid a rare visit to Russian President Vladimir Putin in Sochi this Monday. Her first visit to Russia since its annexation of Crimea in 2014. The joint press conference revealed the deep rift between the two leaders over a range of subjects like Syria and Ukraine, as well as the persecution of homosexuals in Chechnya and allegations of Russia's meddling in international elections. It's Angela Merkel's first visit to Russia in 2 years, a visit designed to send a diplomatic signal. The two powers are at odds over the conflicts in Ukraine and Syria, but Vladimir Putin has expressed a desire to normalize ties. And Merkel says Russia has an important role to play in helping to find solutions to global problems. In a joint press conference, the leaders said they agreed on the need for the full implementation of the Minsk agreement, aimed at ending the violence in Ukraine. Merkel indicating that she'd then be willing to negotiate on EU sanctions against Russia. There are encouraging developments in terms of economic cooperation between Germany and Russia. For me, the aim remains to also reach the point where we can lift the European Union's sanctions on Russia through the implementation of the Minsk agreement. But these issues are dependent on each other. Putin's military backing for Bashar al-Assad in Syria has also driven a wedge between him and the West. The Russian president maintained it was unproven that Assad was behind the suspected chemical weapons attack in Khan Shaykhun last month, but that he supported a full and impartial investigation into it.
We resolutely condemn any use of chemical weapons. Those guilty of killing Syrian civilians should be found and punished, but it should be done only after a thorough and unbiased investigation.
Putin also addressed allegations that Russia had meddled in last year's US presidential election, calling them unfounded rumors, while the German Chancellor touched on human rights issues, including reports of abuse against homosexuals in Chechnya, a sensitive point for the Russian authorities.
Moving on, and Venezuela's opposition has called for a mega protest this Wednesday. This after President Nicolas Maduro announced he would create a new assembly capable of rewriting the constitution. Maduro's opponents say it pushes Venezuela closer to a dictatorship. The decision has also sparked international concern. Brazil's foreign minister has called Maduro's proposal a coup d'etat, while the US has condemned the move.
The Venezuelan capital brought to a standstill. Anti-government protesters blocked roads, angry at President Maduro's plans to rehaul the constitution.
The government thinks that with a fake constituent assembly, people will calm down, but what the people want is a change of president, not of the constitution.
Attempting to quell recent violent protests, Nicolas Maduro triggered Article 348 this Monday, creating a constituent assembly.
I did what Chavez would have done. I'm sure of that. I did what my Bolivarian and Chavistic conscience commands, to summon the absolute power of the sovereign people of Venezuela.
Made up of ordinary citizens, with no political parties involved, the super body will be able to call general elections and rewrite the constitution. Maduro was vague in his speech about how members will be chosen for the new body. The president's opponents described the move as a power grab.
It is a scam to deceive the Venezuelan people with a mechanism that is nothing more than just a state coup in Venezuela, and to find a way through the constitution to destroy the constitution itself.
Opposition leaders have vowed no let-up in their protests. Rewriting the constitution would forestall any elections and work in Maduro's favor, whose approval rating is hovering around 20%.
The chance to